Welcome back. In addition to all the new changes and additions to 2.8, Eagle Dynamics has added new lighting and visual effects. One of the main ones is Airfield lighting, light sources being attached to light objects on the Persian Gulf map. Currently now, the lights at the airfields will actually light up the 3D model of your jet, but it will not cast shadows on the ground yet. And I'm not sure if this is coming, but if you look at the wheel wells or underneath the jet, you don't really see the shadow of the jet still, but the light does affect the jet. This is how it's looked up until now, and it's how it looks currently in this version right now, 2.8, on all other maps. So you can still see the current lighting right now on any other map. The only light source that actually affects the model is the moon or the sun. There is no really, at least in my opinion, it doesn't look like there's much ambient light being affecting the model in any way. No shadows and no, I mean, obviously I'm right here in a really bright area and it's just not lighting up the jet. I'm curious how they're doing it in the Persian Gulf. I'm assuming they're attaching light sources to each light object. All right, so to demonstrate what I'm talking about, you take like a 3D model and you can have a light object that doesn't necessarily affect the model. So I can put this light all around the model. It's not really affecting the model itself. But if I add an actual light source and attach it to that sprite or that image of a light and then move it around, now it affects the model itself, the 3D model. And you see, I mean, it's reflecting off the surface, it's causing other surfaces to glow, it's casting shadows on other pieces of the model. So this is what I think is what they're doing, and if it is, I don't know how it works in their engine, but if they're meticulously adding a light source to every single light object, that's just insane, the amount of work that they're doing. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping there's a way that they can do it a little quicker than that, because that's just got to be the most tedious job. I guess what you're doing this month. You're going in and every single light object, you're going to add a light source to it. Yeah. So I was curious also, what other light objects on the airfields have been provided a light source? I noticed that the left and right navigation lights do not glow on the ground. You don't see the red glow on the ground on the left wing or the green glow underneath the right wing. But the Gannett collision strobe light on the tail is flashing on the ground. The taxi lights are reflecting or affecting the model. You can see here a Smurf lighting up the centerline fuel tank as I taxi over it. And the runway lights actually light up the jet as well. Really cool. But I wanted to see how many objects they've added or where they've added it and what affects it. The Taxiway Signs do not, but each and every street light has been given a source of light, a light source to each object, and it now affects the models as they fly over it. They also added lighting to the Burj Khalifa. I hope I pronounced that right, but it looks really cool. They got the little twinkle lights and everything, the strobes, but the buildings themselves and the ambient light around the buildings are not affecting the models. Only the street lights, it looks like. I haven't found any building that affects the models. If you get underneath it, it's like a strobe, but I'm just impressed. Every single one of them has been given a light source now, and they affect the models. It looks just incredible. In addition to the lighting, they've added some visual effects. The ice halo, which looks exactly the way I remember it when I was up at the 18th in Eielson in Alaska. This is the way it looked in the winter. You actually got this over the moon as well at night. And they also added this, and I think this is what they mean by glory. If you're looking at the fixed issues list or the change log, it shows glory effect. So I think that's what this is. It looks really good. And they also added moving clouds. The clouds actually animate and they move in the direction of the wind that is set in the mission editor. Looks really cool, and it's going to add a whole new aspect to CAS, close air support, where you've got clouds in the way. And then they also added rainbows to the spots where there is rain, and it looks so good. It's not overpowering, it's just enough. I think it looks really realistic. And then they changed the overall gamma to the sim. And this is with my reshade on, and here it is off. On. Off. I think with reshade, it actually makes some of the dark areas too dark now. And this is the same settings I used. If you've watched my reshade video, this is the same settings that I've always used. I have never changed it since that video. So this is how dark it is now. So I'm probably going to actually have to adjust my reshade settings because it looks completely different now. I don't think completely different, but it definitely makes it so that I might not even need reshade. If you turn it off, so here it is on, turn it off, and it looks really good. Off, on, off. I think it looks fine with it off. I don't even think you really need it anymore. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the changes that they've made, the additions that they've made. It's so impressive. I love it. It's getting, like I said in the last video, Eagle Dynamics is doing such a great job in making this sim so much more realistic every single time that an update comes out. I, for one, my own personal opinion, I'm really happy with the changes and the additions. I think it's great, and I'm excited to see more. I can't wait to see what they got next. All right, see you guys in the next one.